Welcome to Canning Class with Denali. Today we are pressure canning mushrooms. We love mushrooms. We can never get enough. So when they're on sale, pick some up and let's get canning. First thing I'm going to do is rinse, sort, and slice my mushrooms. And then we're going to soak them in some cool water. Mushrooms don't have a whole lot of liquid on their own. They actually are full of air. And dirt. They usually have a lot of debris on them as well. So we're going to slice them and soak them in some cool water, and that is going to help release a lot of the dirt and debris. Let's go ahead and do that. Now that our mushrooms are all sliced, let's go ahead and soak them in some cool water. This is going to help get any extra debris off of them. And now I have a pot of water going to boil behind me on the stove. We're going to boil them for 5 minutes. That step just helps release any extra air inside the mushroom. You can already see like some of the extra debris floating in there, so we're going to get rid of that. All right, our mushrooms have been soaking. Let's go ahead and rinse these off, and then we're going to put them in the boiling water for 5 minutes. Now that the mushrooms have boiled for 5 minutes, I'm going to add them to my pint jars, and we will also be using some of the hot liquid that it was cooked in. So I'm going to just kind of fill up the mushrooms to 1 inch headspace. And what that means is it's right under this first little lip right here. It means you have 1 inch of airspace left in your jar. Once your jars are filled, using a clean rag or paper towel dipped in some white vinegar, I am wiping off the rings. This just helps remove and clean any debris that may have been on there. This is especially important when you're working with foods that might have some kind of grease or fat in it, because it could disrupt your seal, and we don't want that. So now we're going to be placing our Denali lids and our rings, and we want to do these finger tight. And what that means is we're going to screw this on, and once it engages with our fingers, then it is ready. We don't want to crank down on this with the power of our wrist. See? Finger tight. Now it's time to add our jars to our canner. We're using the Tinker by Denali, obviously. Be very careful, or you can use your jar lifter to go ahead and put these in here. My canner and the water in here is already hot and going because the contents are hot. We always want to match temperature, so hot contents, hot pots, cold contents, cold pot, and then you would get it to warm up together. It's time to add our lid. I always check the rubber gasket first. With the Denali Tinker, you do not need to let it steam vent for 10 minutes before adding the weight. The weight is already going to be on there. We will turn the handles to lock in place. I have the heat set too high at the moment. Once it gets to temperature, I'll bring it back down to medium to try and keep the temperature within my range. When this comes up to pressure, the pressure regulator on my handle will be flush with the handle. The weight will start to jiggle, and then I can read what pressure I am at. It'll be 11 to 15 pounds depending on your area, so look up your elevation above sea level. For me, I always need to be usually around 11 to 15 pounds. Once I get to pressure, I'm going to time this for 45 minutes. Okay, so our timer went off, and I let the pressure go all the way down to 0, very important. And then I let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes after that. And now we can go ahead and open the lid and remove our jars. First, I'm going to remove the weight. It just makes it easier to open. I'm going to open this away from us because there could still be some hot steam escaping. Using my jar lifter, I'm going to carefully remove this out of the canner. It's very hot. Take a look. I love the way it looks when we can food. All right, so I'm going to be putting these on a heat-resistant material right here. I usually just use a towel. You could use a cutting board, anything like that. Your jars are going to be very hot, so please let cool for 12 to 24 hours. At that point, we will remove the rings. You'll notice your rings are probably loose. That is normal and good, so don't worry about that. When these are completely cool, we'll remove the rings, and then you can test the seal. You test the seal by just picking it up from the edge of the lid right here and pull it straight up. If it doesn't pop off, then you have a good seal. If your seal were to be broken, go ahead, you can actually wipe the rim clean again and reprocess it, or just stick it in your fridge and eat it. And congratulations, you just pressure canned yourself some mushrooms. That wasn't so hard, was it? I will make sure to date and label these before I put them in my pantry. If you have any questions, please email help@denalicanning.com or visit our website, denalicanning.com. We look forward to hearing from you.